This is mathguide.com. Today we're going to take a look at how to take a composition of functions. Now I have two problems up here. As you can see, I've got f circle g of x, g circle f of x. These are two different problems. I'm going to explain how they're different. Before I get to that though, I want to just talk about just a quick basics here. Let's say you had to calculate what f of 3 is. Hopefully everybody realizes that it means you're supposed to put the value 3 in for x. That's all this notation means. I'm replacing the x with 3 in the f function. So I'm going to replace that value right there with 3. Right? So I would put that value right in there. So then I would just do some order of operations. 3 times 3 is 9. 9 plus 2 is 11. And there you go. There I'd have my answer there, right? Okay, well, let me just back up. Because I want to go over a few of those so that everybody understands what this is all about, right? Let's say I wanted to figure out what's g of negative 2. Alright, it just says I'm going to replace this x with negative 2. Alright, so in other words, the problem looks like this. It's x squared minus 5, except I'm putting in a negative 2 for x. And you notice I did put parentheses there in place. So negative 2 squared, negative 2 times negative 2 is 4. 4 minus 5 is negative 1. Okay, final answer. Okay, that's the simple stuff. Okay, that's how you evaluate functions using numbers. Alright, that's easy stuff. Alright, let's get back to something that gets a little bit more difficult, and that's this composition of functions. Alright, well first of all, what does this stuff mean? F circle G. Well, it means we are going to evaluate the function like this. So you'll notice I'm keeping the f, g, and x all in the same order. F, g, and x, right? I'll even do this problem. This is a g, f of x. Alright, so there's a huge difference, right, between f circle g of x, g circle f of x. Well, even though the letters are all in the same order, gfx, gfx, fgx, fgx, the computation is going to be different. Alright, well, what does it mean? It means that inside the f function, I'm putting the entire g function. Okay, alright, what does that mean? I know it sounds like hieroglyphics, right? So I'm going to take this, okay? I'm going to take that and I'm going to plop it all in here. I'm going to put that all in there so we can see what's happening. Okay? So let's try that. Let's put in our g of x. And we're going to replace that all inside of, right? I'm going to take all this stuff and I'm putting it now in for x. And I'm going to put it in for x inside the f function. Okay, so how do we do that mathematically? Well, I'm going to do it just like I did it with numbers. So the function says, right, this is what the function says, 3 times x plus 2. That's what the function says. Except, remember, we're replacing all of this is going inside for x. Okay, so we're going to substitute. So instead of writing the x value there, I'm going to put in the x squared minus 5. And that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to put x squared minus 5 is what I'm replacing the x with. Alright, order of operations says multiply first. So I do the distributive property. 3 times x squared, 3x squared. 3 times negative 5, negative 15. And then I add 2. So I add those two guys together, because I'm only going to add like terms together. And there you go. There's my final answer. That is what f circle g of x is. Alright, now we're going to see how the answer will be different over here for this problem. Okay, so this problem says I'm going to put in f of x, right? I'm going to put in f of x, and I'm going to replace the f of x, right, with all this. Because this is what f of x is equal to. So I'm going to place all that right in there. Just a straight substitution. Okay, well, let's do it. So I'm going to replace the f of x with 3x plus 2. Alright, except when I do this, let's see, what does the g function say to do? Now I'm going to need some space here, so as you'll see in a moment, so I'm going to scoot over here just slightly to the left. Alright, so it says I'm going to replace the x, right? Just go back and think about what these things mean. I'm going to take this, I'm going to put that all in for x, right there. Okay, so that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to say x squared minus 5 is what the g function says. I got to square something and subtract 5. Square something, subtract 5. What's the something? The something is the 3x plus 2. So you put 3x plus 2 inside there. Hopefully you can see that 2. Okay, let me write that 2 over again. There we go. Alright, now order of operations says you're supposed to square first. So that's what I'm going to do. And what it's maybe helpful is to make a table. And that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to make a table. Hopefully I can make this big enough so I can see everything inside the table. So I'm going to put the 3x plus 2, and I'm going to square it, right? So that means I'm going to multiply it by itself. And now I'm going to fill the table. I'm going to fill that table. So what is it? 3x times 3x is 9x squared. 2 times 3x is 6x. 3x times 2 is 6x. And 2 times 2 is 4. Alright. Of course, you should know that you are going to combine some like terms. So that's what we're going to do. So what do we get? We get 9x squared. 6 and 6 makes 12x's. And we've got the 4. Now don't be thinking that we're done with the problem. We're not. Remember, that's just what this is. We just squared this. So after squaring this, we see that the answer for that part is 9x squared plus 12x plus 4. But we still have to subtract 5. And that's what a lot of people forget when they do these problems. They take the partial problem, a partial solution, and they think they're done. Okay, so we're going to take that and subtract 5. So I'm just kind of bringing my work down over here. Okay, so this was the 3x squared, I'm sorry, 3x plus 2 squared. That's what we got over there. But then I have to subtract 5 from it. All right, well, just combine like terms. So I'm going to combine the 4 and the negative 5. So I get 9x squared plus 12x minus 1. And that's the answer for that. So you'll notice that the answers are different. You know, it depends on which function you're putting in the other. Depends on what your answer is. So you have to make sure you get your substitution correct so that you do get the correct answer. Okay, because one doesn't have anything to do with the other except they're both quadratics. That's it. Alright, so make sure you go back to mathguide.com, check out all our interactive quizzes, lessons, videos. Take care.